For your opening, you might consider the Italian game, or maybe something like the Sicilian defense. Or you can just instead of just placing pieces here and there just because, without really knowing why. You should know precisely the reason for your move and its objective. In a game against an opponent, it can be stressful enough without having to memorize a bunch of moves that you don't really understand. Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't learn openings and strategies. Just don't overcomplicate things. For instance, your opening move might be to try to occupy the center, as it provides the greatest freedom of movement. The next move might be to defend or attack additional squares, or expand your territory. The point is that every piece you move is placed there for a specific reason according to your plan. Otherwise, you won't know how to respond when the situation changes, and you could be in trouble. Understanding your opponent's strategy, their reasoning behind each move, is almost more crucial. In chess, it's all about improvising, and improvising, because the situation is constantly changing. Nevertheless, there are a few key concepts you should bear in mind. One key advantage is controlling the center. This is because it provides your pieces with more space to move. Look at this damn knight. Almost no space to move. Compared to this knight, there's a huge difference in mobility. Therefore, control of the center is crucial. You should also choose your moves carefully, so you don't waste moves, meaning moving pieces unnecessarily. Like in this position, the knight blocks the pawn's development. And you should try to castle as soon as the situation allows to put your king in safety. Your next priority should be to develop your pieces and connect your rooks as soon as possible. Just because you can take a piece doesn't mean you should. Capturing can sometimes weaken your position. To take is a mistake, so to speak. And a rule of thumb is, leave no one behind. In other words, never leave a piece unprotected. In this position, white has an attacking idea. But another simple rule is, when moving a piece, consider its function. For example, was it protecting or blocking an attack? Sometimes, even after a good opening in a position you like, you can find yourself without a clear plan. Keep then in mind that your pawns are your defense and your offense. Advance them to control the board and protect your valuable pieces, while simultaneously moving your more valuable pieces behind them to build up an attack. Maybe not exactly like that, but you get the idea. And now let's talk about blunders. Believe it or not, over half of all beginner losses are due to blunders. It's important to address blunders. We often make blunders when we're stressed or act impulsively, like in this horrible example. But there's a simple way to avoid 90% of all blunders. Just play calmly and just check one more time before you make your move. And as I said before, always keep an eye on your opponent's plans. Otherwise, it might turn out like this newbie game. White is so focused on their attack plan that they forget to check black's position and get severely punished for it. Or as in this match, white went completely berserk with their attack and forgot to check what black was up to. For black has their own plans and checks the white king. Bang, and the queen was gone! And then there's one thing I hesitated to include, but because of all my own losses due to it, and considering that almost all games are played online, I've decided to add it. Misclick. Misclicks are like a slap in the face. It's so infuriating. You just want to die. Trading pieces. It is inevitable that you will need to exchange pieces sooner or later. Just try to come out of the exchange slightly better than your opponent. For instance, you might consider an exchange if you weaken your opponent's pawn structure, or if you have superior positional elements or a piece advantage. And please, don't rush your queen out, because all that will happen when you face a strong player is that you'll lose a lot of development, waste a lot of moves, as your queen will be constantly harassed. And now I'm going to show you a simple, cool opening trap for white when you face the Caro-Can. You start e4, and black c6. You answer knight f3, and when black plays the Caro-Can, you play like this. It's a bit of a gamble whether your opponent will play into it, but it's a deadly trap when it works. And that's the end of the game. As with this video, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed it.